My name is Randolph Marcy. I was born in Greenwich, Massachusetts, the 19th of April, 1812. I graduated the United States Military Academy West Point in 1832 and was commissioned as lieutenant in the 5th U.S. Infantry. I served in the Black Hawk War in Illinois and Wisconsin, and later I was assigned to duty in Texas and Oklahoma, escorting immigrants, locating military posts, exploring wilderness, and mapping routes. Reports of my travel and mapping skills drew attention in Washington, whereupon I was recalled to do work for the Department of State in preparing a guidebook for Western travel. Thousands of immigrants were heading west, and a great many of them were poorly informed and ill prepared for the journey. Alarming numbers lacked adequate comprehension of the necessary provisions to see them through the hundreds of miles of prairie. A quarter of a century's experience in frontier life, a great portion of which has been occupied in exploring the interior of our continent, and in long marches where I have been thrown exclusively upon my own resources, far beyond the bounds of populated districts, and where the traveler must vary his expedients to surmount the numerous obstacles which the nature of the country continually reproduces, has shown me under what great disadvantage the voyager labors for want of a timely initiation into those minor details of prairie craft which, however apparently unimportant in the abstract, are sure upon the plains to turn the balance of success for or against any enterprise. This information is so varied and is derived from so many different sources that I still find every new expedition adds substantially to my practical knowledge, and I am satisfied that a good prairie manual will be for the young traveler an invaluable resource in his trek west. After a particular route has been selected to make the journey across the plains and the requisite number have arrived at the eastern terminus, their first business should be to organize themselves into a company and elect a commander. The company should be of sufficient magnitude to herd and guard animals and for protection against Indians. From 50 to 70 men properly armed and equipped would be enough for these purposes, and any greater number only makes the movement of the party more cumbersome and tardy. In the selection of the captain, good judgment, integrity of purpose, and practical experience are the essential requisites, and these are indispensable to the harmony and consolidation of the association. His duty should be to direct the order of march, the time of starting and halting, to select camps, detail and give orders to guards, and indeed to control and superintend all movements of the company. An obligation should then be drawn up and signed by all the members of the association, wherein each one should bind himself to abide in all cases by the orders and decisions of the captain, and to aid him by every means in his power in the execution of his duties, and they should also obligate themselves to aid each other, so as to make the individual interest of each member the common interest and the common concern of the whole company. To ensure this, a fund should be raised for the purchase of extra animals to supply the places of those who may give out or die on the road, and if a wagon team or a particular member should fail and have to be abandoned, the company should obligate themselves to transport his luggage, and the captain should see that he has his share of transportation equal with any other member. Thus it will be made the interest of every member of the company to watch over and protect the property of others as well as his own. In the case of failure on the part of any one to comply with the obligations imposed by the Articles of Agreement, after they have been duly executed, the company should of course have the power to punish the delinquent member and, if necessary, exclude him from all the benefits of the association. On such a journey as this, there is much to interest and amuse one who is fond of picturesque scenery and of wildlife in its most primitive aspect, yet no one should attempt it without anticipating many rough knocks and much hard labor. Every one must expect to do his share of duty faithfully without a murmur. On long and arduous expeditions, men are apt to become irritable and ill-natured, and oftentimes fancy they have more labor imposed upon them than their comrades, and that the person who directs the march is partial toward his favorites, etc. That man who exercises the greatest forbearance under such circumstances, who is cheerful, slow to take up quarrels, and endeavors to reconcile differences among his companions is deserving of all the praise and will, without doubt, contribute largely to the success and comfort of the expedition. The advantages of an association such as I have mentioned are manifestly numerous. The animals can be herded together and guarded by different members of the company in rotation, thereby securing to all the opportunities of sleep and rest. Besides, this is the only way to resist the depredations of the Indians and to prevent their stampeding and driving off animals, and much more efficiently is secured in every respect, especially in crossing streams, repairing roads, etc., etc. Unless a systematic organization be adopted, it is impossible for a party of any magnitude to travel in country for any great length of time, and for all the members to agree upon the same arrangements in marching, camping, etc. I have several times observed, where this has been attempted, that discords and dissensions sooner or later arose, which invariably resulted in breaking up and separating the company. When a captain has been chosen, he should be sustained in all his decisions unless he commits some manifest outrage, when a majority of the company can always remove him and put a more competent man in his place. Sometimes men may be selected who, upon the trail, do not come up to the anticipations of those who have placed them in power, and other men will exhibit, during the course of the march, more capacity. Under these circumstances, it will not be unwise to make a change, the first election having been distinctly provisional.